Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. We're going to get started here because it's 11 o'clock. And hopefully anybody who is also joining will be able to just come in. So welcome, everybody. Tansen Tatoao, Kamama Kanitsigasan. Hello, my name is Mackenzie Brown. My traditional name is the Butterfly, and I hail from the Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation. I'm really excited to be here today. I am the project manager for Indigenous Tourism Alberta, and today we have a webinar, one of many for our webinar series we just launched. So you can check out on our website under news. We'll be listing all of the webinars that will be happening on a bi-weekly basis. And all of these webinars have been created to help our members in terms of development, marketing, and other measures that are going to be put into place to help you guys with your tourism businesses and moving forward. So this topic today is all on tourism restart. So we're going to be giving you some general tips and marketing best practices. Obviously, you know, the province is starting to reopen, and we're seeing restrictions lift and all of these different things. So we have some tips and some marketing advice for you guys today so that you can get back into relaunching your business and continuing on for the rest of the tourism busy season. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Perfect. So tourism restart, general tips and marketing. Before we continue, I just want to also mention that today I'm sitting in Treaty 6 territory, and so Treaty 6 territory in Amiskwaciwâskahikan, Edmonton, Alberta, and this is home to many different nations, the Cree, Saulteaux, Niitsitapi, Iane Nakota, and the home of the Métis Nation of Alberta. And so we just want to acknowledge that today we're on Treaty 6 territory as we continue on. So where are we right now? You know, things are rapidly changing, and we have started our reopening process. So right now, if you take a look at the screen, we're in stage 2 actually, and this just started about 13 days ago that we reopened into stage 2. So that means that we're seeing a bunch of different businesses reopen. We have places where you can go get massages open now, restaurants are open, and at half capacity, of course, but we're seeing restrictions lifting as we move towards stage 3 eventually of reopening in Alberta. So what does this really mean for tourism? It means for a lot of people that they're able to open up their businesses. And that's what we've been seeing across the province is tourism businesses reopening. So one of the first things that we want to mention is if you guys are planning on reopening, we're going to go through some quick safety tips. We did do a webinar on health and safety, all in line with the Alberta Health and Safety Guidelines. So we recommend that if you haven't seen that webinar, just head over to our YouTube channel, and on Indigenous Tourism Alberta, you'll be able to find our health and safety webinar. And it goes through these tips that we're going to just briefly mention. It goes through them really in depth. But before we continue on with reopening and some marketing advice for you guys, it's really important that we go over some quick health and safety tips just as a quick refresher. So when we look at health and safety, it's very imperative that during this time, if you are planning on reopening, that you implement some things that will create a safe environment for both your employees as well as the guests that are visiting. Guests right now, domestic travelers, they are pretty wary of going into certain places, and so it's really important to make sure that there are safety measures in place. A couple of these safety measures include sanitation areas. We see different sanitation areas being set up in stores. When you enter the store, when you're browsing the store, when you leave the store, you sanitize. And also having some physical barriers up as well is a really good idea. So we've been seeing these in grocery stores, bank offices, and retail places as well. So making sure that we have the places where you can sanitize as well as those physical barriers too. Another really important thing to consider when you are going to reopen is staff training and communication. Communication right now is really important between workers and between staff, as well as between your consumers too. First off, you want to make sure that your staff know what are the health recommendations, what are the health requirements that they need to continue to follow. And having a very honest conversation with your staff is really important at this time. You know, if there's somebody who does feel uncomfortable, what can you do to make them feel more comfortable to come into the workplace? Or do they want to continue to work from home if that's available to them? And then if they have any recommendations in terms of health requirements or health and safety things to implement. So we're really recommending that you have that back and forth right now with your staff. And then communication as well with your consumers. So we've been seeing, and we'll get into this when we get into our marketing side of things, but we've been seeing a lot of people put out videos that, hey, if you're going to come and visit our store or our experience, these are some of the things that you should be thinking about. Or the other day I went for a massage and I got an email prior just saying, hey, these are the requirements that we're meeting right now for health and safety, and this is what we expect of you. Please don't come in until we give you a text saying that you can come in. Please don't take your shoes off. Please just follow your therapist into the massage room. So that communication with both your staff as well as your consumers are really important. And then making sure that staff training is happening, you know, so that if you are using certain cleaning techniques, that your staff is trained on those cleaning techniques. If you are implementing, you know, wearing masks, that they know how to properly wear their mask, that they're cleaning them properly. So just that communication and that training between your staff is really important. Signage. Signage is important right now for both your staff as well as your consumers. Signage really helps bridge that gap between I don't know what to do and okay, now I know what to do, without feeling awkward about asking for help. And you can be really creative with your signage. You know, I've put in this awesome sign from a farmer's market that says no bunching. Please keep a safe distance. Or yeah, we see the other one, it's a Cree sign and it says, please stand 1 moose length apart. So signage is really, it's a very good visual cue for a lot of people. Sometimes people forget, you know, we're human. If you see somebody that you haven't seen in a while, you just forget and you want to go hug them, because we're humans, we crave that interaction with one another. So visual cues can be a really good thing to just softly remind everybody that we are still very much in the pandemic and that we need to be abiding by Alberta health and safety regulations. So if you want the Alberta Health and Safety, they have downloadable posters that you can download and you can print and you can put them around your area of work. Again, signage, we've been seeing people have been doing, I like this photo of the cats, I thought it was very cute. We've been seeing people, you know, even posting little squares or little circles that people can go and stand in. And again, it's just one of those things that it takes the pressure off of the consumer, feeling, okay, am I 6 meters away? I feel uncomfortable with this. And just saying, hey, if you just stand here, then you're gonna be okay. I also want to talk about screening guests and employees. It's really important to be implementing screening processes right now for both your employees in case an employee is showing symptoms or an employee is sick, as well as for your guests. You know, especially in tourism, you are getting guests coming from probably the Edmonton area for right now, or the Calgary area, or the northern area, wherever you are, you're going to have those local travelers. But eventually you might have travelers kind of interprovincially as well. So you never know where people are coming from. So it's really important that you're screening them. I just included this very simple screening questionnaire. I know for myself, when I went to go get my massage, they just asked me a couple different questions. You know, they asked me, in the past 24 hours, have you experienced cough symptoms, sore throat, any of this? In the last little while, have you come into contact with somebody who has COVID or is considering that they might have COVID? And have you had COVID? You know, those kind of questions. They're just a very simple and easy way to make sure that that you have that in place. And then as well, what you'll want to do is you'll want to keep all of these screening questionnaires and keep them date stamped and time stamped, because if for some reason later down the road somebody were to call in and they were to say, hey, I have tested positive for COVID and I was at your experience on this date, then you can go through your log and you can see who you should probably contact and say, hey, we had somebody who came here and they did test positive for COVID, so it is recommended that you go get tested as well, just to ensure your safety. Okay, now that we're over a couple of the health and safety tips, we're going to talk a little bit about restarting. So I think this is an exciting time for many people because I don't know about you, but I didn't think that we were going to have a tourism season, and that was kind of a bit of a bummer. But you know, with health regulations and restrictions opening slightly, we are able to have some experiences, but they're going to look different, and that's okay. So one of the things that I wanted to chat with you guys about is the idea of adapting your experience. So yes, maybe you used to do hands-on medicine picking walks. Okay, so there's still the opportunity that you can do that, but maybe you can't pick medicines and pass them around anymore. Or if you would do dreamcatcher experiences and dreamcatcher workshops, maybe you can't go and help your person anymore, but you could do them virtually, or you can do them at a distance and maybe have a big screen projector, something like that. So in adapting your experience, make sure that what you're doing follows health and safety regulations. But I wanted to go through a couple really awesome operators and some of Indigenous Tourism Alberta's members who have started adapting their experiences in very innovative ways. The first one is Scott Eiserhoff from Pepejao. What he's been doing is he's been doing some virtual online cooking classes because, you know, he can't be doing them in person right now. So he's partnered even with Get Cooking, and they've been doing some of these virtual cooking class experiences. Additionally, he also ran this weekend, he ran like a pop-up shop, so people could come and order food and then pick it up and head out. So this is a really great idea that we've seen come out, that okay, we can't be hosting our cooking classes in person. How can we bring the experience to them in a safe and healthy manner? We've also seen Warrior Women down in Jasper. So Warrior Women is she does drumming and singing and medicine walks. And of course, it's usually, they're very small, they're very intimate. It's usually set around a fire when she does her fireside chats. But what she's been doing is she's been doing porch concerts. So they've been performing out on their porch, and then people sit 6 meters and a bit more away from her so that they can still experience drumming and singing and some cultural teachings, but at the same time, they're within health and safety regulations. Rescaled Life Learning Center. This is another really awesome one. She does some medicine walks and herbal foraging in River Valley, in Perryville, kind of all across Alberta. And she has just relaunched her outdoor social distancing appropriate foraging gatherings. So I actually was able to attend one just this past weekend, and it was fantastic because she has limited so that there's only 12 registrants, so that you can split apart, that you can maintain your 6 feet of physical distancing, but you can still hear her whenever we came up to a plant and she were to show us the plant. We could all still see and hear her because she's kept it limited to 12 registrants. Moonstone Creation, they're actually now open, but they were also doing curbside pickup. So this was just a way that they tried to adapt their experience. And now you can go in and you can continue to shop, but this was a really fantastic thing that we saw them do. We also saw them take a very innovative approach to, let's look at the demands of our consumers right now, and people are needing masks. So what they did was they have created these wonderful masks that are Indigenous produced that people can now buy. So that's a really great way that we've seen some of the members adapting their experiences and adapting what they offer. So something that's really important in restarting right now is they're still eliminating the use of public picnic shelters, and they're still eliminating programming that requires people to gather. So make sure that these are all in place. If you do own a campground and you're thinking about opening, just remember that public picnic shelters cannot be open, as well as we've been seeing recreational amenities and facilities within campgrounds remaining closed as well. So lots of places you can go, but you have to have an enclosed bathroom, either in an RV or a trailer, we've been seeing. So I just wanted to flag those different things to just remind our members that if you are thinking about reopening, that there's still this. So a really great resource that I had mentioned last week and that I will continue to mention in these webinars is the Alberta government website. If you go over to BizConnect, they have a list of different types of businesses and the recommendations towards health and safety that you should be following. So this was directly pulled from Relaunch Guide for private and municipal campgrounds. So you can go and find a whole list of the requirements that you need to follow, as well as the guidelines too. So marketing. So you've decided, yes, we are going to open. Fantastic. How are you going to market now? Because the thing is that let's say you used to market to an international audience. That's not happening right now, nor will it happen for a little while. So how are you going to shift your marketing? And we're going to have a little bit of a chat about who you should be marketing to right now. So right now it's recommended that we are marketing hyperlocal. So this is 1 to 2 hours away of your business. So if you're located in Edmonton, you are marketing to Edmontonians and the greater Edmonton region. If you're in Calgary, same thing. The north, same thing. So right now we are recommending that you market super hyperlocal, and that this gives the opportunity for locals to experience your offerings, and maybe they haven't before, right? So it's kind of the explore your own backyard again. And in order to do that, we need to really change our marketing tactics. So let's say you used to market to a German audience. Okay, who are you going to market to now? Maybe your experience is an outdoor experience and you really want to target those adventure seekers, the people who really like to get outdoors. This typically means that they're kind of like adventure seekers. Where would those adventure seekers live? Where would be the best place to market to in order to get those people to come? Or maybe you want to market towards a family, right? So what kind of families are you looking to come to your experience, your campground, or your offering? And how are you going to really reach those audiences? So making sure that you reevaluate who is your target audience when you're thinking about marketing towards them. We're also recommending deals, incentives to visit. We've been seeing this happen kind of across Alberta, and incentives right now they're just a really great thing to get people out and thinking about exploring your particular offering. Here's this. If you're marketing towards families, for example, what kind of experiences would families be looking for? What would, if let's say you're an experience that you can only take 2 people at a time, maybe that's not the best for families. Thinking about, okay, maybe I'm doing guided hikes. Is this an appropriate length for a family to attend if that's your target audience? So some of these different incentives that we've been seeing, a really good one that we saw is with the Grey Eagle and Redwood Meadows. Right now, if you book a night's stay at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, it also includes a round of golf for up to 2 players. So that's a really good incentive for people who love playing golf, and then they're thinking, oh, you know what? I can have a getaway staycation as well. I'll go over to Grey Eagle, stay overnight, and now I get 2 rounds of golf. That's perfect. And it's also a way that both the golf course and the resort, they're duplicating their marketing efforts, reaching a greater audience, and then letting those audiences know about both of the businesses. So that's a really great example of a partnership incentive. Another good incentive that we've seen is River Cree Resort and Casino. This ad that they have here, it says, planning a getaway or staycation in the Edmonton area? Here's your chance to save up to 40% on your hotel stay during the River Cree this Sunday. So if you were to have booked before June 19th, you could have taken advantage of the limited time offer. So this is a really good example of River Cree directly marketing to the Edmonton area and to their target audience, which is the Edmontonians. The Edmontonians, those who are probably still working right now and those who want to get away. They've given the opportunity that are you working? Are you tired? Come and stay at the River Cree and we'll give you this awesome discount, or even we'll give you this awesome discount. So that's another really good example of somebody reevaluating, okay, who is our target audience? How are we going to reach them? What kind of incentive are we going to give them so that they can come to our particular offering? Also, another important thing that when you are marketing right now, we suggest that you do market your health and safety tips. Right now, consumers want to be able to click on a website and see what you've been putting in place in terms of health and safety so that they feel safe and comfortable. So these are some really good things that we've been seeing. So John Ritchie, he's from Hideaway Adventure Campgrounds. He put up you know, for the safety of our guests, these are the following steps that we're taking. So that's great, because then somebody who's booking to go to the Hideaway campgrounds, they can see, oh, okay, so I'll get a private washroom. Each site will be washed down for cleaning. There's still going to be programming, but there's going to be physical distancing in place. And then I pay electronically. So that just helps ease the stress and ease the worry of the consumer. And that in turn makes them want to come and visit you a bit more. We're seeing the Carter Ryan gallery, you know, they're not open right now, but what they're doing is they're taking appointments only. So you can book online for a specific time, and then you can go in and you can experience what the gallery has to offer by yourself and in a safe way. Then they'll go in between and they will sanitize to make sure that everything's okay. Another one that we've seen is this is from the Sawridge. So we're seeing, so this is their commitment to our safety, and all of the cleaning measures, the health and safety measures, they're all put into place right there, so that a consumer can directly go see what measures are in place, feel more comfortable before their visit. Eventually, and we're starting to see a little bit of this now, marketing provincially as well. It is still recommended that we do try to get as many of our locals as possible, but people are starting to move a little bit around the province. So eventually, when it comes to that, reevaluating, okay, who is your market? How are you going to reach them? What kind of incentives are you going to give them? Maybe you start marketing to Calgarians and you say, hey, come down to Edmonton for a staycation, experience like a sister city in a different way. Maybe Calgarians, you know, you travel all the way up north. Maybe you haven't traveled up north before. So reevaluating, okay, who's my target audience? How am I going to reach them when we start moving to marketing more provincially? Eventually it will open up so that we're marketing interprovincially, and then eventually national travel. That is not here yet. It's very much recommended that we're not traveling outside of Alberta. There's a reason why in most campgrounds you can't book unless you are a resident of that province. So this is not in place yet. Eventually it might be, and very well will be. In terms of restarting, we are also recommending that you reevaluate how you do your cancellation policies. Things are changing very rapidly, and one of the big issues that we saw at the beginning of the pandemic was people weren't able to cancel their trips that they just spent a lot of money on, and that has caused a lot of frustration, and it can then in terms cause a negative view of your particular brand or of your business. So we're recommending that people are pretty flexible on their cancellation policies. And I understand being an operator myself and an entrepreneur, I understand that it can be really frustrating when you're like, but like, this is my well-being. Absolutely, I totally get that. The world that we're living in is drastically shifting every single day so rapidly. You know, we're open now, but maybe tomorrow we end up closing down. You never know. And so it will entice people to book with you if they know that they can cancel freely and that there might not be any penalties, and that then later down the road they'll be able to rebook with you. So that actually brings me to the end of our presentation. I'm just opening up the question and answer box. And what I'll do is I'll give you guys a couple minutes that if you have any questions, please feel free to send them in the chat box. And if there aren't any questions, then we will end up wrapping up. But I just wanted to leave you on this particular page that if you ever have any questions post the webinar or any questions about the stimulus funding that we just announced or more webinars, please feel free to contact us at info@indigenoustourisamalberta.ca. Additionally, many of the things, almost all of the things actually that I talked about today can be found on our website at indigenoustourisamalberta.ca. All right, and I don't think we have any questions today. So I'd like to thank you all for joining our webinar today. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful day. And this has been recorded and will be on our YouTube channel as well as our website. So kinanaskumtin ai hai, and good luck everybody with reopening. Thank you.